Welcome in, folks, to the Old North State Sports Show, formerly Two Growls, One Roar. Now, all my socials, my YouTube channel, the podcast still say Two Growls, One Roar. It's going to take me probably a month or two to do an official cutover, but I figured why not go ahead and start with the rebrand. We've got a new logo we're working on. You can see here we're going to keep the same color palette. I think it makes sense, and then maybe eventually we'll do an official rebrand. But here we are. Panthers content remains the primary focus of our channel, and we're back with 3 topics today. The Panthers added a new defensive lineman. We'll talk about him in a second. There's some conversations about being comeback here. Panthers fans, I'll tell you if he should or should not be. And some all-star games. You got the East-West Shrine Bowl, a few other bowl games that have happened already for college seniors. Talk about 2 Panthers assistant coaches that are helping out with that, and one in particular who may be looking at a new kicker, or at least opening the door for a new kicker in Carolina. Let's get this thing started. First of all, welcome in Jared Clark. So the Panthers signed former Chargers nose tackle Jared Clark to a reserve future deal. Clark, who's 25, spent part of the last 2 seasons with the Chargers. He's 6'4", 334 pounds, and was originally signed as an undrafted rookie from Coastal Carolina. Now, he hasn't really done anything in the NFL, so I did go back and look at his college stats, which maybe are meaningless at this point, but he did record 105 tackles, 18 tackles for loss, 7.5 sacks, and 3 pass deflections. What this symbolizes for me is the Panthers making a concerted effort to continue to beef up the line. We know that's a need. I've talked about, and maybe you'll see it here shortly, in Mock Draft 2.0, addressing the defensive front in multiple ways throughout this draft, but I also think free agency is going to be big piece of this. And then also, of course, looking elsewhere and picking up guys along the way, such as this. And I like this over undrafted free agents. I like undrafted free agents, but I like guys who've been in the league, been around a little bit more, and can, I don't want to call him a veteran, but at least bring a little more stability into the building. And, you don't have this guy coming off the street, someone who's been in an NFL program and knows how it works. I'll look for the Panthers to continue to lean in that direction. Now, Bryce Young, comeback player of the year. And I did forget the THE. I forgot the E on the end here. You can see, I don't care. New show kinks, getting things worked out, so we'll take it with a grain of salt. But there's a lot of discussion about, one, the comeback player of the year list has been revealed, which we'll talk about in a second. But a lot of folks asking if Bryce Young should be in that conversation. And unfortunately, I got to tell you no. And exactly what would he have come back from? Benching, yeah. But last year, they did make an effort to change the rules because of Joe Flacco coming back, literally just coming back to play and making a run. But let's go ahead and dive in and show you the criteria. So this was released last year in regards to Flacco and making an update. The spirit of the AP Comeback Player of the Year award is to honor a player who has demonstrated resilience in the face of adversity by overcoming illness, physical injury, or other circumstances that led to missed playing time the previous season. So say this again: illness, physical injury, other circumstances. Yeah, that kind of does fit into Bryce Young's category, but I just don't think it's enough. The decision to provide this guidance was made last December, but could not be implemented for the 2023 awards because the season was completed. So the season was done. It was over. So we couldn't do this. So based on that criteria, Bryce Young isn't going to make it. Now, sure, he did come back. We can all agree that he came back strong and looked really good, but I don't think we can put him in that conversation. When you look at the comeback player of the year finalists right now, you have the Bengals, Joe Burrow, the Vikings, familiar foe, and Sam Darnold. And I kind of throw, Sam Darnold's in this conversation. What did he come back from? Because to be honest, he came back from benching, so maybe that's other circumstances. He's bounced around in the NFL. The Chargers running back, J.K. Dobbins, Patriots cornerback, Christian Gonzalez, and Bills safety, Damar Hamlin. Now, one thing I'll say for Panthers fans who wanted to make this connection, you go back and look at Geno Smith, who was part of Comeback Player of the Year, who had Dave Canales helping him. You have Baker Mayfield in that same category, all because of Dave Canales, or partially so. I don't know if we can say all because, but that's it. And then, yeah, you know what? Sure, I'm glad that Bryce balled, but I don't know that I'm like going to throw my hands up and say he absolutely should be in that conversation. Now, closing it out, the All-Star game. As I mentioned, let's take a look at the coaches that are participating. So the Panthers have 2 coaches that are participating, and I should say one that already did, and Jim Caldwell, senior assistant. He participated in the Polynesian Bowl, which is already wrapped. And then Darren Bates, who is a special teams assistant coach, is helping out in the East-West Shrine Bowl. We're going to get his opinion, not his opinion, but a quote from him in just a minute from Panthers.com on what he expects to get out of this. Now, one thing I will tell you, if you've not been following the Shrine Bowl, when Mike Kay is there, Mike Kay does great work for the Charlotte Observer. He's been reporting out that Bates has been working very closely with the kicker out of Miami. I don't think it's any question that the Panthers need a kicker. Is that going to be drafted, undrafted free agent? It doesn't seem like Eddie Pinheiro is going to be back. It's just the nature of this. So it's a really good opportunity for Bates to get, one-on-one work with a lot of guys and guys that maybe he can convince to come to Carolina if needed. But let's see what Bates had to say about his expectations on the Shrine Bowl and what he would like to get out of this. He said it gives them techniques, speaking of the players, gives them the tools that they will encounter when they get to a team, to an organization where they know crossface, a backdoor, they know the bullet techniques. So there's certain techniques that he's able to teach, getting a jump on and knowing that they can work on as they go and train. We'll have some competitive drills that the guys get going in front of the scouts, and that's when, the technique work that we'll be presenting to them will come about. So again, really good opportunity for these guys and for the Carolina Panthers and Bates. And to be honest, I have not been a huge fan of Tracy Smith as the special teams coordinator, but it sounds like he's not going anywhere, although the entire special teams unit is up. They're up as free agents. I would expect Jansen to come back just because, and then TBD on kicker and punter. So anyways, folks, that's going to wrap for today's update. Please leave a comment. Let me know if you like this new format. I'm planning to do maybe 3 episodes like this per week. And then, of course, we'll do the normal podcast where I talk for 20, 30 minutes. Just depends on the subject. So until then, this is the one and only Carolina Dad, and I am going to update my name to something else eventually. But for today, this is Carolina Dad. Y'all have a good one.